Ina mana, ina waka, ina reo. I rau rangatirama. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Kia ora everyone, my name's Kerry Topp and from the Kerry Topp Collective. We're here today for the 4InSights sessions. These are sessions that unlock the foresight and insight of digital experts to help accelerate you and your business and your aspirations. In terms of the format, it's pretty simple, 3 and 10. What that means is one thought leader, 3 rounds of questions in 10 minutes flat. The context that we're operating in is that Rob Campbell, a famous chairperson and director and investor in New Zealand, 18 months ago said the days of business privatising profit and socialising cost are well and truly over. The other side of it is the Impact Weighted Accounts Initiative from Harvard Business School said that I did a survey of 1,700 firms and established that 15% of those business would have had their profits wiped out if environmental damage that they created was taken into account. In addition to that, 32% of them would have seen their EBITDA, their profit, reduced by a quarter. So that's significant. So who are we going to hear from today? Well, we're blessed to hear from David Shieff, the Managing Director of Incisive Consulting. David is, in my view, a person that understands value, understands stakeholder and value creation, and has lectured on it. And is also running a business around understanding that. David, welcome. It's wonderful to have you here.
Thank you, Kerry. Great to be here.
Cool. Look, David, we're going to rip into it because the insight comes from you. So, look, there's much talk about business purpose being broader than just creating value for shareholders singularly. What does that mean, and what other stakeholders do you think leaders need to consider?
Kerry, there's 3 questions in there. The first one is actually to consider what is value. And value is not just a measure of money. Value is worth. Think of the economic context of worth. Is something worth it?
Yes.
So is our business activity worth it? So in the first instance, let's just zero in on that word. That value means worth. It's not just about price. In terms of stakeholders in a business, I think our recent experiences as a country have shown us just how interdependent we are. If we take the natural disasters that occur, climate change, or occurring from climate change, the incidence of COVID, the disaster that COVID is in so many places, communities struggling to pull together to recover value that's been destroyed by natural events, businesses, livelihoods, homes. And in order to recover from those things, of course, we have to recognise each other's needs. Now, in a business context, we have many and varied. We do not operate in a vacuum. We've got customers who can make or break our business. We've got the talent we critically need to recruit and retain and drive towards behaviours that enhance our business objectives. We have to deal fairly and ethically with suppliers. If you don't believe that, walk through Marks and Spencer's and see the ads for ethical fair trade and realise just to what degree now that issue weighs with consumers when they're just making purchase decisions.
Making decisions, yeah.
We have to support the communities in which we work. If we don't, we can't expect them to support us in our achieving of our goals. Value is co-created. So, of course, we have to also create long-term value for the people who've risked their assets to start a business going. So the future is in the hands of all these stakeholder groups, not just ours.
Yeah, and look, the point I'd make in a New Zealand context is the importance based on Te Tiriti o Te Waitangi, Treaty of Waitangi, is actually the position of Māori and the view that they have around the natural world and actually looking after people. So making sure that they're a key partner within what they're doing. Question 2, how do you overcome business tendency to focus on purely the financial, right? We all know that's important. In the here and now, right? The P&L operating. What are some of the ways leaders can overcome this?
I think it's very helpful to think about cause and effect relationships and to understand cause and effect relationships. If you like, a P&L is what's left at the end of the day. You've generated your revenue, you've paid all your costs, and guess what? We've got some left, and we call that profit. Simplicity. That's sort of what we're talking about. Now, we've got to think about the waypoints along the way that indicate to us whether we're doing well or badly in terms of building and sustaining our business's ability to continue to deliver profits to the shareholders. And that's what an organisation is in charge of. The shareholders invest capital, the people who work in the business, the management of the business, their job is to take those resources and use them to best effect. So how are we going to measure that? Are we being innovative? Are we getting productivity up? Are our products and services in demand? Have we got customers who are spending more money with us this year than they did last year? Are we increasing the value of our brand? These are straight off the top kind of measures that have just come into my head as I talk, that reflect progress on different dimensions of success that together will ultimately provide the platform for the financial numbers that will give you so much pleasure when you do those other things well.
I
like this framework, Kerry, very much. The notion that we capture and understand weak signals of change. If we don't look outside our business for those signals of change, we won't see it and we'll miss out.
Yeah, and look, the metaphor I use around that is obviously if a big organisation operationally is a waka, and everyone's optimised to do the best that they can there, then we're in a world now with the change where we just need to push little waka out to go and explore. We're sensing where the opportunities are, and we're looking and pushing out. And so I think that metaphor works really well in the context of we've got two different models, dynamic capabilities being the smaller ones pushing out. This is a saying that is adapted that I picked up from you, which was from George Day, right? See further, act faster. But your context is for good. Do you just want to quickly talk about what that looks like?
Well, we're not interested only in this year's balance sheet. We're interested in building a platform that will create wealth for the people who work in business going forward and the owners of that business and the stakeholders that it serves. So there is this notion of both insight and foresight, and the kind of data that we're probably capturing in the business about customers' behaviour and their purchase rates and what they buy and how much they spend, all those sorts of things provide insight. But enlightened businesses also know that change is coming on the future and we have to see it before others do. If you don't understand those stakeholders' perceptions of value and the impact of the things that you're doing on their world and their life, how on earth are you going to get it right? So how are you going to attract the kind of investors who say, yep, I see the future of this business and I believe in it and I'm willing to put money on the table?
Yeah, and look, it's a perfect segue into what are the implications for businesses that don't understand their stakeholders' perception of value in them.
Why would a graduate, a very smart graduate, want to come and work for you? So what happens? Well, disaffected, we know this for a fact. Many disaffected customers will be those who are disaffected because they value sustainable practices and they sense that their providers are not worrying about it. It's not on the radar. We know that the firm will be less successful in competing for talent if it's not offering the best value in terms of the right balance of activities and training and career opportunities that bright young graduate seeks. We'll see the traditional sources of competitive advantage change as others pick up on weak signals of change and actually adapt and acquire the capabilities to enable them to operate in a different model. We will certainly see the loss of community support. I don't remember when Auckland City Council was dismembered by the government, an array of community citizens marching up Queen Street asking to rescue the council. I don't recall that, Kerry, you might. And what you're critically going to miss are the opportunities for value innovation. Because if you don't understand the changing needs and motivations of the needs of the various stakeholders, how on earth are you going to get it right?
And I think
being the case to know more and see more.
And I think being orientated inwards versus looking out and seeing the value opportunities that are there, internal value creation versus external, what's my role, what's the purpose I have as a business. And if you don't achieve that, then you risk losing social license, right? So, and so, David, we've got probably about 20 seconds for just to wrap up in this one. The shift to with and among, what do you mean by that?
We are so interconnected, both globally and internationally and within the country. And what we do affects others and what others does affect us. We now, with social media, we're no longer necessarily in total control of our own brand. Our brand is controlled by others who can make decisions about whether they say good things or bad things about our brand. So we are marketing now in an era when marketing is with and among. No longer just up to us to say, well, we'll put a budget of X into this and throw that at it.
Awesome. Hey, look, thank you very much, David. In terms of what we heard, businesses deal with many stakeholders. They need to understand the value that they create, and if they ignore those stakeholders, then actually in this highly interconnected world, then they miss opportunity, they potentially lose social license, and they risk their business, right? And we're seeing the half-life of businesses fall rapidly from 60 to 18 years now. If businesses solely focus on opportunities of value creation for themselves, i.e. internally, without orientating ourselves out externally, they miss opportunities again to create profitable value from unmet needs in the future. And they're differentiation and relevance opportunities. And then ultimately it's about, it's dangerous not to listen and understand your stakeholders' needs and perceptions of value, and you ignore them at your peril, right? Yeah, awesome. Hey, David, thank you very much. Everyone, really appreciate you taking the time. Thank you, ka kite anō and ke runga noa atu, which means onwards and upwards. We'll stay tuned for next week.